Hello, my name is Gregory January, and this is my presentation of Enterprise Asset Management and Computerized Maintenance Systems for MIS 653 Supply Chains Information Systems. What exactly is a Computerized Maintenance Management System, or CMMS? At its core, a CMMS is a database of maintenance records and performance metrics, with software sitting on top of it. The magic happens in how we choose to utilize this data and present this data. The CMS software is designed to streamline maintenance management by tracking maintenance activities on equipment, assets, and properties. It does this by managing work history, scheduling preventative maintenance, and it also creates reports for managing assets throughout the plant. Basically, the CMMS software is an ERP solution at the maintenance level. It records, manages, and communicates the management team's day-to-day operations. The CMMS software has become an essential tool for recording work requirements and tracking the status of work throughout the plant. CMMS is also commonly referred to as an Enterprise Asset Management System, or EAM. At one time, CMMS and EAM were seen as two different applications, but over the years, they have combined and the lines have been blurred between the two. Now today, they are synonymous with one and the same. So the initial CMMS application started in the 1960s. So they were math-based systems, and they were designed to document, standardize, and verify manufacturing processes. The issue with these systems is that they resided on large mainframes, and the data entry process was done through punch card and punch card readers. So that's a very tedious process, and which gave you only a limited amount of information. As you know, that throughout history there are like major advancements in technology, roughly every 10 years, and every 10 years or so, applications become more accessible, affordable, and easier to use. The CMMS applications were no different. So we're going to fast forward about 20 years to the 1980s with the implementation of PCs. So PCs became cheaper, and there was the emergence of became cheaper and available within the plant. Inside these plants, management and maintenance teams would develop their own personal version of CMMS tools by utilizing spreadsheets and small database applications like Access. The only problem with this is that if there was a version of a spreadsheet that needed to be used across multiple computers, it required a LAN to have a centralized repository for this applications. So only one person could access it at a time, and the cost issues. But it was a much improved from years past. Next, later in the 90s, enterprise level management took notice of the usefulness of CMMS applications, and that's when the enterprise asset management solutions systems were developed. So basically, EAM software contained a superset of CMMS functionality. It contained all the functionality of CMMS tools, but it also included root cause analysis, predictive maintenance, meaning it took the lifespan of an asset and tried to extend that by applying maintenance, predicting when assets would fail, and also did final cost and asset asset lifecycle analysis. So this was implemented in that area. Whereas in the early 2000s, with the advancements of the internet, the CMMS providers saw what the EAM teams were doing, and they included that plus a robust reporting and analytical tools. And then that's when the two became blurred. So some CMMS applications were referred to as EMS and vice versa. The most common use nowadays is a cloud-based CMMS application, where you can access that from almost anything, from your phone to tablets to your personal computer. You may be wondering what exactly CMMS applications are used for. As this graphic says, it's used for tracking work orders, recording asset history, a scheduling task. I think the most important aspect of this tool is the scheduling task aspect of it. So basically what you can do is it does work order management, meaning if a portion, someone in the company says that something is broken, it creates a ticket for maintenance and is able to deliver that ticket to the correct people so the item gets fixed. There is no manual process with this. It is basically type it in and the ticket gets sent to the correct people. It also does planned maintenance scheduling. Now, during the planned maintenance scheduling, a ticket is created, no different than before. So there is no difference between the high level tickets and the low level tickets, meaning there is no difference between the scheduling maintenance. It's just as important as the regular tickets. And it gets sent to the correct people and they were able to fix it. I think that's a wonderful idea because you're prioritizing maintenance the same as actual fixes. Also, it provides asset monitoring. So if a application is down or if a system is down, you're able to provide statuses to employees to tell you how long it's down. More importantly, you're able to redirect employees to a different application or a different tool to be able to account for this time of being down. It is a very productive tool and I highly recommend it. So who uses CMMS software? Basically, any organization that has assets, equipment, or property. I know that's a generic or very general definition, but it's very true. CMMS software can be utilized by almost any organization. There are, however, three main categories of traditional CMMS users. The first one is production maintenance companies, companies that require production maintenance. Basically, these organizations make physical products, and they have the manufacturing equipment that needs maintaining. So this comes in very useful for them. Secondly, or fleet maintenance companies such as FedEx. I'm trying to think of somebody else. The UPS. United Postal Service, and so on. These companies have transport assets that require regular maintenance, of course, limo services, and catering companies. So you can keep track of the mileage that are on these vehicles, and also when the maintenance has occurred on these vehicles, since they're used quite frequently. Lastly, the companies that have facility maintenance, which is almost all companies. Any organization with a building falls into this category, whether it be a office building or a warehouse building. Anyone can cut costs by providing regular maintenance, and you can do this by providing a solid return on investment for this application. So, what are the benefits of implementing a CMMS tool? Basically, you're going to be able to, if implemented properly, you're going to be able to utilize your assets effectively. So you know you're providing regular maintenance, you're providing limiting the downtime, so you're going to be able to use those assets to their fullest potential. Repair costs will be low because of the preventative maintenance. Also, downtime will be reduced significantly because of the preventative maintenance. You're able to schedule that and introduce that on time. It also streamlines purchasing procedures. I guess you're wondering, how does that happen? Well, when you need to replace some of the items that are used frequently, for instance, you need to replace tires, you need to replace belts on vehicles, and so on. You can see when the last time these items were replaced, and you can replace them proactively. This is a part of the preventative maintenance items of it. So it streamlines the purchasing procedures and reminds you that you need to replace these items. And lastly, the risk and accidents are reduced. Why are the risk and accidents reduced? It's because of you're doing preventative maintenance. You're preparing for things to wear out. You're preparing for things to stop working. Thus, that reduces accidents. Now, this was one of the hard things to research. It was one of the drawbacks to CMMS. There really weren't that many, and I was really shocked by that. But one of the first things is staff training. You're going to have to train your staff, everybody from the maintenance men to management, to be able to use this application. And generally, to allocate that time is costly because you have to run a well-oiled machine. But in order to implement this tool or implement a new version of CMMS, you will have to train your staff. Next is if you're utilizing a version of CMMS that is in the cloud or is working remotely, the data that is gathered from these items resides on the software provider's servers. So you're not hosting this information. That could be an asset or a drawback. It depends on how you look at it, but it is not on your particular servers. Also, it's the data security. We always are aware of data security of these providers that are offering these services. So they could get breached, and your data could be compromised. In recent years, there's this idea called the Great Crew Change. Basically, this is a transition from an older, aging workforce to a younger workforce. So a lot of the infrastructure, city infrastructure, public transportation, subways, light rail systems, and the oil industry are adapting this idea quite quickly. And they're using CMMS applications to transition the knowledge from their older work generation, that is the older workers that are now retiring, and applying it into the CMMS application to create standardized functions and preventative maintenance schedules for this older technology. The younger people that are coming out are not trained in maintaining this technology. They're only trained in the newer stuff. So there has to be a way to bridge the gap between the old guard and the new. Next, we are going to discuss the SCORE model. SCORE stands for Supply Chain Operations Reference. More specifically, we're going to discuss how CMMS supports SCORE model level 3. Balance and delivery of resources and capabilities is one way CMMS supports SCORE level 3. It does this by keeping assets available and running smoothly. It also supports the transfer of product and the shipping of product. Once again, it does this by keeping assets available and running smoothly. Provided here are the list of references provided to me by the instructor. This is the list of references found during my research. Here are the questions I have for this module. Do you see a use for artificial intelligence in future CMMS applications? And also, what type of industry would not benefit from using a CMMS?